for the Ottawa Fury and head coach Mark Dos Santos preferred here this afternoon.
There's a look at Mark Dos Santos looking on as this one is underway, and Minnesota with the opening possession. Another long through ball that is sent into touch by Becky. Drew Becky back with Mason Stafford, and that pairing in the back row, Gord, is going to play a tremendously important role if the Fury FC are going to have success against this strong Minnesota United club.
Yeah, Trafford's the only Fury player that's played every single minute of every game so far this season. He's had a wonderful season. He's had to contend with 2 or 3 different central back partnerships. He's had Jarun in there, he's had Becky in there. I think even Richter probably has been in there on an occasion as well alongside him. So chopping and changing in the back, they've come through it, they're settled now. I think an early goal here would be really key for them if they're able to really put Minnesota on the back foot. 2 games played so far, both 2-1 wins for Minnesota. The first ever game for the Ottawa Fury at Carleton University, a 97th minute winner to give Minnesota the win, and then of course a 2-1 win down or over in Minnesota earlier on here in this
So it's not
season.
A case of the Fury FC being unable to stay close with this club. Just they lost the heartbreaker here at home in the spring, and then just a 1-goal loss in Minnesota.
Yeah, and the Furies really started to come together nicely. As we said, when you go through that injury patch that they did have, certainly in the spring season with Heinemann and Patterson pretty much missing the entire campaign in the spring, it's very difficult, and you've got your chopping and changing. Now you've got everybody back, and I'm sure the practices that go on during the week before a game are intense as anything, because players are literally fighting each other for starting spots on the weekend.
Vicentini plays that all the way across. Vicentini gets it back, and Soria sends it right back. Here's Heinemann, headed down by Tiano Calvano, right to goaltender Matt Van Oekel, who gets the start for Minnesota United. Romuald Peiser has gone most of the summer campaign with the Ottawa Fury FC, and he gets the start again today. Van Oekel moves that across for Tiago Calvano. Calvano with the long chip, looking for Pitchkolin. Fury FC Maillard. Papuche Maillard. Just moved that to Richie Ryan. Donatelli back in the middle. And here's Drew Becky for Ryan Richter. The Toronto FC secondment. Ubi Parapovic goes to the far side for Maillard. Maillard for the Ottawa Fury FC, wearing their home black with red and white trim. Minnesota in baby blue. Oliver back for Richter. Becky will try the far side again. Trafford back to Becky. And not a lot of openings as 10 blue shirts are back in defense of keeper Matt Van Oekel.
Yeah, Minnesota collapsing pretty much everyone except for Ramirez up front. And we expected that. He played a sort of, not necessarily a lone striker role, but in an attacking setup, he'll be asked to just work between the 2 stoppers to try and stop any easy build-up play from the back 4 of the Fury.
Richter can't get away from Ibarra. Pitchkolin up as well. Ramirez wearing number 21 in the middle. And they go all the way back to Peiser, and Peiser had to be sure-footed there with Ramirez charging.
Yeah, when it left the foot there, it looked as if it might have been a little bit short, but Peiser did well just to make sure he reacted quickest to get outside the box. Well, Peiser's had a terrific week already, certainly the shutout last weekend, but on Tuesday his wife Deborah gave birth to their second child. Get this name, Thierry Liam. So a nod to the Canadian aspect, I'm assuming, with Liam, and then obviously the French aspect with Thierry. I'm not sure if Henri is his hero. Being a goalkeeper, I would highly doubt it, right enough, but you never know. But congratulations to the Peiser family as they celebrate the birth of their second child on Tuesday.
Becky takes down Ramirez. He's still down. Here's Heineman with a chance, and Van Oekel gathers it up.
That was a good effort because Heineman did well. There's an injury on there. Or Ramirez is down, and he hasn't moved much at all. They're signaling to the bench to have someone come in. I didn't see what had happened.
Trafford. He got collided
Tangled
with
up,
at midfield.
I don't know if we got a chance. Well, at least Ramirez is up anyway. But I think we might get a chance to see that chance at the other end. A nice ball played through. Heineman gets there first ahead of the defender. Just can't catch up to it there before the goalkeeper. Van Oekel does well getting out. Ramirez appears to be okay back up. But Manny Lagos was not happy at all with that tackle. I'd looked away as the play was developing up the other end, Dan, and unfortunately for the Ottawa Fury, Heineman just unable to catch up to that second ball as he got the first one away from the defender.
Ottawa throw. Oliver sends it in for Donatelli, and in a gesture of sportsmanship, they give the ball back to Van Oekel as a result of the injury to Ramirez. Headed up, Becky. Back into the midfield. Ibarra, all the way across for Thiago Calvano, who gets it back. Calvano comes near side for Cristiano Diaz. Diaz for Ibarra. Diaz loses control. Donatelli picks his pocket. Here's Oliver. And a chance for the Fury FC. Ubi Parapovic in a triangle of baby blue sweaters and has the ball taken from him.
Well, initially when that ball broke to Heineman, Ubi Parapovic took up a great position down the left channel. The ball didn't come his way, and finally when it worked its way across, he was quickly closed down by a couple of defenders. But just a little bit slackness there in the back four for Minnesota. They've got to try and clear the lines a little bit quicker. Ottawa just sitting off him a little bit right now. They're really not putting a lot of pressure high, especially on the fullbacks. I just wonder if Minnesota can take advantage of that to get the ball out wide and get it down to players like Ibarra down this left-hand side.
Ibarra taken down just at the edge of the 18-yard box. Heineman getting past his man. Heineman in. And Calvano swept it away, but a great move by Heineman to get by Diaz.
Yeah, again, but the concern is he was all on his own, Dan. There was really no one in a black shirt going to walk towards him. And he was having to do everything on his own, take on two defenders at the same time. But again, good work rate by Heineman. It's something you certainly can't lack. You can't look at his game lacking here so far this season. He does work hard. Sometimes he's in that 1v2 position with two central defenders. Playing with two wide strikers alongside you, it does make it a little bit difficult sometimes to try and get there.
Fury FC, Oliver on the near side. Back into the middle for Donatelli. Tony Donatelli. Outside for Oliver. Oliver. Hits that off his man. It goes off Ibarra. And an Ottawa throw.
Here's this last chance here. Heineman just battling away there with the defender. Flicks it up and over the top. Gets a bit of a lucky break there. As the ball goes into the box, just a wonderful sliding tackle there by Thiago Calvano to stop any more progress. But that's what's going to have to happen this afternoon. It's a player like Heineman is going to have to win those 50-50 battles when he does get in a 1v1. Right now a lot of 1v2 for him. If he gets in the wide positions, he takes on his defender, he'll have all sorts of real estate in behind the back defender if he is able to get beyond them. Hopefully a player like Ubi Parapovic or Donatelli coming late into the box can pick up any scraps that are thrown in there.
Diaz. Justin Davis has it go out. Minnesota throw, long throw. Here's Ramirez. Ramirez comes up with the ball into the area. Can't get past Trafford, and Trafford sweeps it away. Wonderful defensive play by Mason Trafford.
Yeah, you've always got to be very careful, Dan, don't you? When you're inside that box, you can't go to ground. If you are going to go to ground, you've got to be 100% you're getting the ball. In that case, Trafford just did well, stood his ground. Very difficult for Ramirez to get beyond him.
Vicentini moves that over. Ball's into the area. Ramirez looking for it. Becky clears it away, and it's the first set piece of the match A corner will go to the Minnesota United FC.
Yeah, a couple of big lads in this Minnesota lineup. An opportunity to possibly come in and cause some problems for the Fury. Not the best of deliveries, though.
Heineman came back, was able to get the ball away, but now it will result in a poor clear, resulting in a Minnesota throw.
Well, a player that does an awful lot of running for the Minnesota United FC is their captain, number 4, Aaron Pitchcolan. A wonderful player. He's all over the place. Right now, he's always available for a pass, and he's willing to make runs into the box, late runs into the box, to give other options for a pass being played down the channel or down the flank. Outstanding player for Minnesota.
Ramirez for Jordan, just over the goal.
That was another good break there, just played inside. Just tried to pull the trigger, and there was just enough of a defensive pressure there to put him off. Goalkeeper Pizer had come out to try to make himself big, make it difficult to get it beyond him, but he stayed down. Greg Jordan, good run from his midfield position, but unfortunately just couldn't get the ball below that white crossbar, and unfortunately for Minnesota, that half chance, you have to say, goes a-begging.
You see the skill level in a player like Christian Ramirez. It's inherent, Gord. It's not something that can be taught, to know where everybody is and just how they're coming, how your support is coming, because it always comes quickly, and it's usually a fraction of a second where you make your move.
Well, you know, in a lot of cases you expect players that have got 15 goals and 5 assists to be, you know, veteran players that have been around for a long time. The young lad's only 23 years old, you know, and he's having a terrific season, absolutely outstanding season. When you're scoring 15 goals in this league, not only, you know, do you know the way to goal, and not only are your teammates helping you out, but you still have to put the ball in the back of the net. If you're creating chances for yourself, that's one thing. You still need to finish. And obviously the young man's been able to do that in spades here so far this season.
Richter for the Ottawa Fury FC for Oliver has that one go off the leg of Justin Davis. Ottawa throw. Richter for Richie Ryan, settles it down. Ryan all the way back for Drew Becky. Across for Mason Trafford. Trafford with a long ball into the corner for Oliver. Well defended, and another Ottawa throw deep in Minnesota United FC territory.
I think that's one thing we're going to see by the Fury an awful lot this afternoon. Trish trying to change that angle of attack from left side to right side, diagonal balls up and over the top, maybe trying to catch the back four of the Minnesota United out.
Off the throw, Ryan moves it back for Drew Becky. Becky across for Mason Trafford in midfield. Trafford across for Ramón Soria. Soria trying to create some space in the middle, moves it back out for Richter. Richter. Drew Becky. Becky looked to the far left corner, then opted to go for Trafford, who sends it to the far side for Ramón Soria. Ubi Parapovic inside for Richie Ryan, back to Sinisha. Ubi Parapovic, long ball into the corner for Heineman. Heineman looking for some help, has that stolen by Calvano. And Jordan again tripped up at midfield. Good play by Becky to keep that offensive threat alive. Into the corner for Oliver, tries the cross, and again goes out. Ottawa throw.
Well, a couple of Fury players from last week's performance down in Atlanta earned them NASL Team of the Week recognition. Oliver, as we see there on the screen, and Soria, a left back who's been slotting in quite nicely since Icon left to go back home. He's made that left back spot his own. He's been tremendous these last 4 or 5 weeks.
Long throw into the area. Here's Richie Ryan trying to keep it alive. Couldn't get a good volley away. And he goes back for Trafford. Trafford in for Maillard. Maillard. Nice through ball for Ubi Parapovic. Taken down in the box, and the referee points to the spot.
I tell you what, I mean, the Minnesota players right away reacted that there was no contact. We would really like to see that one again. I think it's Donatelli, Ubi Parapovic, always looks favoured to get there ahead of the defender. Defender goes to ground. We talked about it 3 or 4 minutes ago. You've got to be 100% sure you're going to make contact with that ball. And as Ubi Parapovic gets in, well, from that angle there does appear to be a little bit of contact. I wouldn't say there was a whole heck of a lot. The referee, to be fair, perfectly placed. Let's see Well, he does seem to catch his trailing leg, and he does go down. He didn't get the ball. You made it easy for the referee to make the decision on the penalty kick. And now Heinemann with a glorious opportunity to open the scoring here this afternoon. Certainly the Minnesota United players were not having any of that. They thought Ubi Parapovic made a bit more of it than it was, but that's not his fault.
He
thought there was contact, he goes to ground, that's what happens, penalty kick. Big chance, big chance for the Fury.
Chris Gravis pointed to the spot immediately. Here's Heinemann. Goal! 1-0 Fury.
Well, 15 minutes gone here and the crowd just comes to life now. Been a little bit quiet. Hey, things hadn't been that bad a start for the Fury. Certainly Minnesota 1 or 2 forays into the attacking third, looking dangerous. But Ottawa, their first real opportunity to work a little bit of magic around the 18-yard box. And as that ball was played 1-2 in behind the defender by Maillard, a lovely ball played in, and Ubi Parapovic goes to ground. Heinemann finishes it off 1-0 Fury.
Van Oekel guessed left. Heinemann went right. And it's 1-0 Fury. No doubt Manny Lagos will not be too pleased. Here's Ibarra after it, and Pizer gathers it up.
Well,
and halts that rush.
We say so often in this game that you've got to be tight as a drama at the back now. You've just taken the lead. A lot of emotions. You're up, you're down, you're down, you're up. You're really, your blood's pumping. You've just got to be 100% sure at the back. One touch, get it cleared away. No mistakes. And that's what the Fury have to make sure they do now. They almost gave up a chance to Ibarra there. They've got to just settle down. That goal should allow them now to just get rid of some of the nerves. And now let's see, can you go on and ask even more questions of this Minnesota back four to pick up a second goal?
Long throw into the corner, Maillard. As the Fury continue to press offensively, looking for a corner there. And it's going to be a Fury FC throw. Maillard trying to get some space, sends it across. Now it'll be a corner. The first for the Fury FC in this match.
Just take what the defence are giving you. And, the defence were just standing there. All they did was just play it off them. Take the corner kick, bring up Richter from the back. Heinemann's in there. A couple of the bigger lads. Mason Trafford's always a threat off a set play inside that 18-yard box.
Here's the delivery, curls in. Great grab by Matt Van Oekel.
Yeah, good goalkeeping, wasn't it? Just solid, holding his ground, good solid pair of hands on the ball, and in the end the defenders obviously heard the call, just backed away and let him make the decision. Good goalkeeping by the big lad.
Long clear. Soria for Ubi Parapovic, back to Soria on the left flank. He elects to come back to the captain, Richie Ryan, who goes across for Drew Becky. Becky for Ryan. Trafford. Becky back to the keeper, Pizer. And Pizer gets the ball to midfield. Headed down by Calvano. Calvano trying to send it to the open wing. Jordan in support, and a free kick awarded Minnesota. Well,
Minnesota not only with the best offense in the league with 38 goals scored, they got the best defense as well, Dan. Only conceding 19 goals in their 20 games played, so outstanding all-round performance for Manny Lagos' squad. But they're in tough here this afternoon, I guess. A non-form Ottawa team, it has to be said, hitting their peak right at the right time of the season. Can they keep it going? 7 games left to go.
Through ball, Ibarra in the area. Can he tee it up? Yes, he can. We're tied. 1-1. Miguel Ibarra.
Well, the ball wasn't dealt with properly. It's just a simple ball played up and over the top. There seems to be a little bit of confusion there between a couple of defenders and the goalkeeper. Ibarra, I think, had 3 times he possibly could have stroked that ball in the back of the net. Finally just takes his time, commits the goalkeeper to ground and just knocks it into the left-hand side of goal. But here it is. Becky misses the first one. Then it sort of breaks up. You've got Richter he actually goes across the ball altogether, and then as Pizer comes out, goes to ground, Ibarra, nice finish.
His 8th of the season ties things up here, and it's been a very, very brisk pace to the first 20 minutes of this one.
And Ibarra opened the scoring with a wonderful goal back at Carleton University in that first game of the season to make it 1-0 for Minnesota. He's tied it up here this afternoon at 1-1, and now Ottawa have it all to do all over again.
Maillard, Heineman! Loose ball in the area, finally cleared away.
Terrific work by Maillard on that far side, though. Just a wonderful delivery into the box. Floating it up there, just asking Heineman to go and attack it. I think he did get his head on it, but it ricocheted off the back of the defender. But nice play there, and we might get a chance to see this as the ball gets played in. Maillard left-footed, gets it around it, and there it is. Yes, Heineman. Well, just
missing it.
Yeah, just he got the slightest of contact on it probably, and it just made it difficult to get any accuracy on the header back towards goal.
Becky has that one bounce to the wrong guy. Ramirez in the area, drops it off. Ryan clears it away. It'll be a corner for Minnesota.
Well, sometimes when strikers get in those type of positions, Dan, the first thing that goes through their mind is, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot, I'm going to shoot. He obviously heard a call from someone coming out behind him. Just try to see who it may have been. The ball's played here. You will see that, and there it is there, number 10.
Ibarra.
Just come around the outside, possibly heard a shout to say, I'm open, and then that's where the ball went. Ryan, though, doing a terrific job of coming across and sweeping up.
There's the delivery, a low one, no doubt, and it'll happen all over again, no doubt. Off the foot of Venegas. He had to have been bothered by that roll of toilet paper that was thrown directly in the corner. Whoever threw it had a great amount of accuracy if he was trying to bother Venegas, but he'll try it again. This one, a much better delivery into the area.
Oh.
It's 2-1.
Oh, that's controversy there, because Heineman is claiming he was fouled in the back. He was going for the header, and then it appeared he just was bundled over at the front post. And he's going straight to the referee. The referee is not having any of it.
It's Mendez.
And Mendez, well, we mentioned off the top of the show, Ibarra and Mendez just as critical to this Minnesota team as Ramirez. And they've got the 2 goals so far this afternoon that's turned this match on its head. But Tom Heineman, got a chance to see it here. Yeah, right to that front post area. Well, I'll tell you what, there's a push in the back of the Minnesota player who then pushed Heineman in the back as well. So I just wonder if the referee has decided to let that continue, because the Minnesota player really may not have had much to do with the push in the back of Heineman. Certainly a bad break for the Ottawa Fury, and I'm sure they'll be talking about that in the post-game show. But the fact is, you've conceded 2 goals in the space of 5 or 6 minutes since you went ahead, and you just can't do that at this level. You've got to make sure you're as solid as you can be at the back for that short period of time. And all you've done now is just let Minnesota completely come right back into the game.
Heineman goes down just inside the area. Calvano took him down. But Mendez with his 9th of the season, just 3 minutes after Ibarra tied things up with his 8th of the season.
Well, and that's just one of those things, you know. You got emotion by taking the lead against the top team in the league in your own backyard, and you just need to get your wits about you as soon as possible, Dan. Emotions go, and you're so high, and you let defensive mistakes kill you. Certainly the ball was allowed to travel all the way across the face of goal there on that corner kick. Goalkeeper may have been screened. There was about 5 or 6 bodies in that front post area. He may not have seen it at all.
Mendez was completely
unmarked. He was. You know, you have to put your hand up as a defender and say, how was he that wide open? But you've conceded 2 goals. Now you've got to go back out and do it all over again. A bright start, 15, 16 minutes in. We were able to get the goal off the penalty kick. But now you've let Minnesota not only back into it, but you've given Minnesota this game right by the scruff of the neck once again at 2-1.
And now they've had an opportunity to take a breather with Heineman going down for a couple of minutes. He stays out there.
Yeah, he went off. Now he's got to come back on. The referee signaled on. That's fine.
Diaz back for Van Oekel. All the way across for Calvano. Soria against Mendez with some support there from Kevin Venegas.
Well, a lot of times defenders, especially on this surface, and we've seen it a lot of games recently, you can't allow that ball to bounce. Certainly not in the 18-yard box. And when you do that, that's a free kick. When you do that, Dan, it checks up sometimes, and it just gives the forward that little bit extra second to nip in and get the ball away from you. That might have been what happened on that first goal, but letting that ball bounce, unfortunately, Minnesota was able to get in there and penalise them. A couple of times we've seen Soria just try to let the ball bounce instead of just, volleying it back out of the danger area right away, and that's sometimes does work against you.
Soria. Ottawa had all the momentum going early in the first 15, scoring a goal on a penalty kick. Tom Heineman with his 5th of the year in the 16th minute really gave the Ottawa Fury a lift, but 4 minutes later, Ibarra ties it up, and then 3 minutes after that, Minnesota United FC is now in their comfort zone, Gord. This is the position that they found themselves in for the majority of the 2014 season.
No,
and if anybody knows how to play it well, it's them.
Yeah, it's a perfect road game for them, isn't it? Heineman stayed on side. He's done well.
Heineman has Maillard in the area. That goes out the end line, and it will be another corner for the Fury FC.
Yeah, as we said, a perfect road game. You come in, the first 50 minutes, you weathered a little bit of a storm, the pressure there the Fury brought on you. You did concede the goal, but you didn't let your heads drop. Manny Lagos' side just said, oh, fair enough, we've got to score 2 goals now to win this match, not just 1. And that's exactly what they did. They went about the task, they tied it up, and then again, just poor defending off the corner kick, as you said. Mendez.
Into the corner again, headed away by Calvano. They'll do it again.
Well, wins already this weekend for Carolina Railhawks and San Antonio, so their weekend is over. Another game this afternoon, Edmonton and the Cosmos.
Ubi Parapovic's delivery. Great grab by Van Oekel. Can he ever get up there on corners?
Well, that's it. That's all you ask of your goalkeeper on corner kicks. That 6-yard area is yours. The ball's played in there. You're the one that's calling for it. You're the one that's coming out to make sure you're averting any danger. And so far, he's done that very well here this afternoon.
Another long through ball. Oliver racing after it with Justin Davis. Davis gets there first. Great tackle. Keeps the ball alive. Moves it up for Jordan for Ibarra. Ibarra up the left side. Here's Drew Becky. Back inside Jordan. Ramirez. For pitch Colin, the captain, look to the far side, and Kevin Venegas had slipped on the field turf.
Well, look, the one thing, Dan, that's really nice to watch about Minnesota is the counter-attack. When they do get the ball in the back, it's quickly played into midfield. There's 5 blue shirts streaming forward. It's not just a case of 1 or 2, or the strikers that are up front. You've got your midfielders breaking their neck to get into good positions.
Oliver with the cross goes off Ibarra. Another corner for the Ottawa Fury FC.
And the only other game this weekend, the Florida Derby yesterday, was postponed due to weather. Fort Lauderdale, Tampa Bay. I believe they're going to play that game on October the 8th. So, poor weather obviously putting paid to the local derby down in Florida yesterday. But it's here this afternoon where the Ottawa Fury have got it all to do once again. Richie Ryan will be asked to throw in a left-footed ball, calling right in on top of the goalkeeper once again.
Maillard, Heineman, Ubi Parapovic surrounded by blue jerseys. They go out the far side. It's headed away nicely by Vicenti. Giuliano Vicenti back into the area once again. Here's another opportunity. Oliver racing after it, tries to get it across, and that one headed away by Vicenti. Another corner coming.
That was a decent ball. Nice delivery in there. Right footed, just swirling around it away from the goalkeeper. Heineman just couldn't get in there ahead of it. But Oliver just on the first touch. Here it is here. A lovely ball whipped into that front post area. You see the goalkeeper can't come for it. He just backs up to try and get ready for a header. That's exactly what he was preparing for, but Heineman just couldn't nip in front of the defender. Gets it cleared away, but nice delivery into the box there by Oliver.
delivers that one just over the goal. I believe it was Mason Trafford moving up from his defending position to get a good attempt at heading that one, and he headed it over the target.
No, I wouldn't say it was a good attempt. I would say it was a golden attempt, Dan, because that's quite possibly the best delivery they've had into the box. Trafford, a free header. He's really got to get that on target. He knows it himself. The young lad's a little bit disappointed that he wasn't able to get it below the crossbar. But a terrific delivery there by Richie Ryan. What's a pace? Just all Trafford had to do was make decent contact with it, and it was always going to go flashing towards goal. And unfortunately for Mark Dos Santos, it just went up and over the crossbar, and his team's still down 2-1 here this afternoon.
Kept alive, Oliver. Chipped up by Richter to Heineman. Back for Ubi Parapovic. Far side for Maillard. Maillard with some support in the form of Soria.
Yeah, that wasn't the best of balls. He did have the overlap there on the left-hand side. I think he was trying to play it into the feet of Tom Heineman and get cut out easily by Minnesota United. But that's a few times now we've seen Soria make that run. They've got to use him. When you're supporting into central midfield, you've got to use that overlap, that 1v2, or 2v1, sorry, on the outside of the park.
Pitch Colin. Back for Calvano. Calvano, far side Venegas. Calvano elects to go back to keeper Van Oekel, and Matt Van Oekel gets the ball to midfield, headed back by Soria. That will go into touch. It will be a Minnesota throw.
I don't think Van Oekel was too happy about getting that ball played back to him. He realises that the defender was in a little bit of trouble being closed down, but I think he would have preferred it to be a little bit wider instead of right towards goal for him. Any time that's played in front of goal and you miss it, my goodness, it's going to be trouble for you.
Here's Trafford. Into the middle for Donatelli. Comes to the near side, Richter. Richter making a move around Ibarra. That quickly closed off, forced to go to Richie Ryan inside for Maillard. Maillard for Oliver, left a little drop pass, perhaps a little too fancy.
Yeah, it's really tight in there. Maillard comes in, Oliver comes in, the fullbacks are coming in with them. And there was like 10 players almost in that 15-yard radius that in that area of the park, and it's very, very difficult to try and work something out.
Richter. Donatelli spins away from Mendez. Donatelli, left foot, weak effort gathered by Van Oekel.
Yeah, but 25 yards out. I think he maybe had another option or two again. Soria had gone wide. I think the initial time that he turned away from the defender, he did get clipped a little bit. Could have gone down. I think at that point the referee may have had no choice but to give the free kick. But Donatelli, to his credit, stayed on his feet. Didn't work out for him as the shot was fairly tame. An easy save for Van Oekel in the end.
Here's Donatelli. Back for Trafford. For the captain, Richie Ryan. Ryan, nice chip through for Heineman. Heineman onside. Working against Calvano, comes back to Ryan. Ryan, left side. Richter moves over to get it. Richter now trying to tee up a play. Ibarra on him. Here's Ryan. Little chip through. Offside. The flag a little late coming as Papouche Maillard ran after that loose ball, or that intended through ball, but gathered by Van Oekel. The flag went up eventually.
But again, with that mass of bodies in that very, very tight 18-yard box area, Dan, that little chip there by Ryan's got to be almost perfect to be just enough over the defence, but not too far that it's going to run in towards the goalkeeper. It's a really delicate skill to be able to master. Certainly Ryan can do it, but in that case it was just a little bit offside. Unfortunately for them, it was going to roll into the goalkeeper anyway. Free kick now for Minnesota.
Mason Trafford, Christian Ramirez on the receiving end of an elbow, and they've got a free kick about 40 yards directly in front of the posts. Diaz moves it outside for Calvano. Calvano back for Diaz. Van Oekel. Venegas. Off his head. Ottawa throw. Ramón Soria over to retrieve. Back in for Trafford. Ryan. Lovely little chip back up for Soria at midfield. Soria for Maillard. Back to Soria. Maillard unable to work the give and go. Ryan. Maillard. Fury working the triangle. Now they'll try it back into the middle. Ubi Parapovic, nice through ball for Richter. Coming up in support, Richter into the area. Headed away by Vicentini. Ibarra. Becky marks him. Back in for Ramirez. Ramirez goes far side. Venegas. Venegas has the ball. Good defensive play by Maillard to get back. They go back far post. Ibarra tried to kick it back, and here's Ubi Parapovic back the other way. Looking for some movement. Oliver onside in a race for it with Davis. Oliver comes up with it. Ubi Parapovic chips it through, and too far for Heineman, right into the waiting arms of Matt Van Oekel.
That last couple of sequences there for the Ottawa Fury, Ryan Richter getting down this right-hand side, terrific run, good supporting position to get the ball into the box. But that last one there, Ubi Parapovic sliding the ball through for Oliver. Tell you what, Davis at full-back's got a bit of pace himself. Oliver's a quick lad. Davis stuck with him that whole way down that field. That's a couple of times now the full-back's been able to stay with him. Just wondered if maybe Oliver and Maillard maybe do a little bit of a switch, try and change things up a little bit. Both defenders on the far side, Venegas and obviously Diaz on this side, fairly comfortable with marking the two wingers this afternoon. Maybe change things up, switch them up, and just see if you're able to get a little bit more purchase out of the other players that you're going to go up against.
Calvano for Venegas. Calvano plays it across for Diaz. Diaz moves it up into the middle. Becky plays it right back. Davis. Jordan. Ibarra. Lovely give and go. Here's Ibarra into the area. Drops that for Ramirez. Nobody home.
That was a terrific ball, though, because all the Fury defenders were already inside the 18-yard box. All it would have taken is either a late run coming in from midfield, or I think it was, I can't quite remember who it was on the very far side. Number 18, is it? Mendez. If he really just times his run a little bit better, stops, that ball's going to end up at the bottom of his feet, and it's going to be a really good opportunity. But a lovely break down this left-hand side, as you said. Ibarra, terrific skill, as we said. Not only score goals, but he can set them up as well.
Oliver takes a pretty heavy tackle from Vicentini, but play continues. Oliver down. Maillard in all kinds of traffic now. Forces Ryan back. Soria. Ryan moves it across. Oliver back up on his feet, but favoring his right leg.
I think he's up on his foot because the other one's not much used to him right now.
Ryan. Soria into the area, too far for Heineman, right to Van Oekel.
Yeah, they're just wasted, aren't they? I mean, you work yourself into good positions to get a ball into the box, and you're really only aiming at that point for one player, Tom Heineman. He's surrounded by 2 or 3 blue shirts, plus a goalkeeper coming out, Dan, so it's really difficult. If you're going to play a ball at that end, you've got to make sure you've got other bodies coming forward.
Well, what can Mark Dos Santos do? Does he wait till halftime to make that adjustment?
For sure. Yeah, I don't think there's anything with 5-6 minutes left to go now. You know, you've been well in this first half. You've had chances. You know, certainly Mason Trafford's outside of the penalty kick you got. Mason Trafford's header was a real good opportunity, and a couple of other half chances as well that you've spurned. But no, I don't think you do anything right now. You get in at half time, you have another chat, you say, right, let's try and do this a little bit differently. Make some, I wouldn't necessarily say any personnel changes are imminent as far as the Fury go, but you've got to start on these long balls possibly coming into the box. The goalkeeper's just vacuuming those up all afternoon, Dan, and you've got to do a little bit better with the areas that you're placing those long crosses into the box.
Richter with an opportunity, but Van Oekel got there a half second before the Ottawa Fury FC defender. And they've moved Richter up into the offense more and more as this half has progressed, Gord.
Well,
out of necessity, or
no.
Was that part of the game
No,
plan?
it's something that has to happen when you play this 4-3-3 formation. We've talked about it in previous game situations. When you're playing an arrow 3 in central midfield, there's all sorts of space down the flanks because your two strikers wide are pushing all the way up. So there is naturally that 25, 35 yard space right in front of a full-back that he's got to read. He's got to read that it's there. He's going to get in and support the midfielders, and that's what Richter's done extremely well this afternoon. Soria's trying to do it on the far side. Problem with Soria, he's just not getting the service.
Fury FC on the long throw. Becky bumps that back to Romuald Pizer, and Pizer with the throw for Trafford. Up for Richie Ryan. Ryan. Through ball right side. Oliver, nice play to keep the ball alive. Oliver into the area behind Tom Heineman. Davis loses it. Ubi Parapovic looking for some space. Has some help from Oliver right at Van Oekel.
Oh, that was a wonderful piece of play there. Again, that angle change from Ryan, switching a big diagonal ball all the way over to Oliver here, creating a different angle of attack. He brought it down ever so well, and when he played the first ball in, it just a little bit behind Hyman, it broke to Ubi Parapovic. And as he tried to work something with Oliver, the final ball unfortunately just didn't find a black shirt easily into the goalkeeping hands of Matt Van Oekel, who's been, it has to be said, has been fairly busy this afternoon here in this first half. I would say a lot more busier than Pizer, although Pizer's had to pick the ball out the back of the net twice.
Ryan. Becky. Back up to the middle for Donatelli. Spinning away from Jordan, and Donatelli tried that angle ball into the corner again, too far for Oliver.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only was it too far, but the young man's he's shattered. I mean, Oliver's had about 3 or 4 of those lung busting runs down this right hand side. A couple of times he's been successful, but at some time you need a break, you need a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, he's
and
gassed.
He's gassed. It just keeps coming and coming and coming. Donatello maybe just has to say, okay, I'll maybe go left this time to my yard. There hasn't been an awful lot of play going out that side. Again, Soria with those good runs, just not getting on the end of them because the ball isn't coming there. That will change in the second half. I'm sure Coach Mark Dos Santos should asked about what will happen. I think he'll be asked to get the ball a little bit more out on both sides, try and balance it out. Right now, Minnesota pretty comfortable that everything's going to be coming down this right-hand side. So, the fullback Davis is doing a very good job of just making sure they're not getting an easy run in behind them. He's always challenged against Oliver.
Well, little more than a minute remaining in this one, Gord. Ottawa trailing by a goal. Is a tie, is a draw enough for the Fury FC at this point?
No,
they need a win, but
yeah.
Is a draw enough to keep them alive?
Listen, I would have said maybe, spring season, the start of the fall season, a 1-1 tie against, or a 1 point taken off the top team in the division would have been an excellent result. But right now it's all about 3 points. You've got to pick the wins.
Here's Heineman with a chance, couldn't bring it down. Maillard, heavy traffic inside. And no matter how much the Fury FC have tried in this first half, Gord, to bring the ball to the outside, the Minnesota United FC have continued to clog up the middle and bring the play back into that area.
Yeah, and as I said, I think that's what they're trying to do. They realise that there is a threat possible out wide. If you keep it in the middle, it makes it difficult for the Fury to find that space.
Header, Ibarra, loose ball, trickles just wide. And who's in the middle of it once again? Mendez.
Yeah, well, that was a fantastic read by Pitch Colin, I believe, down this left-hand side. The ball played all the way to the back post, the header down. And there he is there. I thought that came off of Richie Ryan last, but the referee decided that it came off of the Minnesota player. But a terrific ball, deep ball to the back post, completely took the back four of the Fury out of play. And another fairly decent chance for Minnesota here in injury time in the first half.
Been informed that there will be 1 minute of added time. Ryan for Maillard. Venegas got up. Jordan, Greg Jordan with it. Venegas moving up in support. Threw ball into the middle over the head of Ramirez. Here's Davis. Diaz. And there the whistle goes from referee Chris Grabas. The Minnesota United FC leading the Ottawa Fury FC 2-1. The Fury started off well, getting an opening goal on a penalty kick in the 16th minute from Tom Heineman, his 5th of the season, Gord, but then 2 of the big 3 took over. Yeah, Ibarra in the 20th minute with his 8th, and then Mendez with his 9th in the 23rd minute. What a flurry in that little 7-minute package.
They've got all the work to do again here, down 2-1 as we go into the second half.
Second half just underway here at TD Place. Papush Maillard working against Venegas, and it went off Kevin Venegas, and now Soria throws in for Richie Ryan. Richie Ryan for Sinisha Ubiparapovic. The feature in our halftime segment, former Minnesota United FC, played 7 games for them in 2013. You know that he's pretty hungry for a victory here against his old club.
Well, I think given the standings, he's happy for a victory, irrespective of who you're playing against. But it's always that much sweeter when you're, getting a win against a team that you had played for before.
Donatelli in a race for it with Ibarra. Ibarra won that. Here's Pitch Colin. Up for Ibarra into the middle. Jordan with a loose pass, intercepted by Ryan, and back the other way comes Ubi Parapovic. Comes to the near side, Papush Maillard. Maillard working against Venegas, trying to get some space. The left boot, far post. They go up, and Oliver heads that one away in a rainbow-like fashion over the net.
Well, we said earlier we'd like to see the ball getting out to Maillard a little bit more often, and that's the perfect example of it. Takes a defender on one-on-one down the left here, swings a lovely ball into the back post area, and unfortunately for the Fury, just couldn't direct the header down. But twice in this first five or so minutes, 2 minutes even, they are making, it looks like a concerted effort to try and get the ball to Maillard down this left-hand side. As much as it was down the right in the first half, possibly try to do it more down the left-hand side here. They're in the shade now, mostly down this left-hand side, so it might be a little bit easier to see the ball. Some of those balls right now in the heart of the Ottawa defence, they're looking straight into the sun. Goalkeeper Pizer will have to really be wary of that when the ball is played right down towards them from the middle of the park.
No substitutions made to start this second half. Donatelli with a weak roller once again to Matt Van Oekel. Well, no substitutions made, Gord, but does Mark Dos Santos, how long does he wait to get some speed into the offense? He has Vinny Dantas, Carl Haworth, and Nicky Patterson on the bench.
Well, I was just about to say, this team has 3 games now in the space of 7 days. They've got today, Sunday, they've got a Wednesday game here at home against Atlanta, and then they go to Texas against San Antonio next Saturday. I'm expecting players like Ubi Parapovic, Donatelli, veteran players, it has to be said. I doubt if they're going to be able to maybe last the 90 minutes here and then 90 minutes again on Wednesday. So I just wonder if maybe Coach Dos Santos will just try and let them run themselves into the ground tonight. Certainly on Wednesday, I'd be surprised if we see both of them in the starting lineup right off the bat, because it is very difficult to play so many games in such a short time. The Fury have had to do that already once this season. I think it was something like 5 games in 12 days, something along those lines, and it was when you put the Amway Championships in there as well. And it makes it very tough, no matter what your level of fitness is, it makes it really tough to try and maintain that level of continuity and what have you over the course of so many games being played. And the Fury will have to deal with that on Wednesday and then again next Saturday. So I think maybe about the 70-minute mark, we might just see possibly Nicky Patterson coming in for one of those two attacking midfielders. Certainly I don't think we'll see very much at the back four. Maybe we might see, if the game's still close or tight, 2-1, 3-2 down, with 5 minutes left to go. We've seen him before throw Big Giroud up front as a striker alongside a Heinemann or a Dantas that's up there. So I think he's quite satisfied. We saw at half-time, he's satisfied with the performance. A tight game with two very good teams.
Nice run by Ubi Parapovic, only to be swept away by Diaz.
I think he just has to hope for that little bit of rub of the green in front of goal. And all it takes is one mistake or one lucky break where it bounces off of someone's knee or someone's backside and it goes in the back of the net for 2-2. And you're right back in this thing.
Papush Maillard. Soria. Richie Ryan. Little chip too far for Ubi Parapovic. Venegas for Pichkolin. Across for Vicentini. Vicentini with some space. Moves him to the outside. Richter turned around and the ball was there. Becky. Richter. Now Mason Trafford goes on the attack. Moves it in. Donatelli unable to get past Vicentini, who is already back in his defensive position.
Yeah, Vicentini and Pichkolin are just sort of sitting there looking to pick up Donatelli and Ubi Parapovic, and it is making it tough for the two of them to maybe find some space in that attacking third that's going to spring a ball into Heinemann or one of the two wide strikers.
Only one yellow card in this one so far. That coming to Thiago Calvano in the 16th minute. The takedown of Ubi Parapovic leading to the penalty goal by Tom Heinemann. His 8th yellow card of the season.
I mean, with only 20 and a half games played, that's quite a large number of yellow cards, no matter what you're doing, rightly or wrongly. The fact is, you're picking those number of yellow cards up, you're facing suspensions at some point in key games of the season that you might be missing out, and certainly a player of his quality you don't want to be having out of your lineup far too often.
And leading the Ottawa Fury FC in that category, Drew Becky with 7 as well coming into this one. Not to mention the right leg injury, the high ankle sprain that has kept him out of the lineup for 3 or 4 games this season. So Becky, an aggressive defender, the kind that Mark Dos Santos wants, but there are specific lines you can't cross with the officials.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're doing it in the wrong areas of the park, and in the attacking third, it's not in your own 18-yard box where you're conceding penalty kicks. You might not have that much of an issue with it. It's where and when, time and place, so to speak, as far as when you're picking up these yellow cards. It is a long season. When you start getting into that scenario, it's just a one game here or there, that's not too bad. But if you're picking up, 2 games back to back, or even a red card where you're missing out one and possibly more getting added to your disciplinary record, then it's difficult to force yourself back in. Somebody takes your spot, they play well. We look at Maillard, we look at Oliver, who have come in for the Fury and done well. Haworth can't get a spot back right now. Nicky Patterson, who's been forced out in one of those wing spots because of the play of Ubi Parapovic and Donatelli being preferred as the attacking midfielders. He's lost his spot. There's an offside easy call there. Ramirez well early.
Yeah, you don't want to be another Wally Pipp.
No. Who did he play for?
The New York Yankees was the first baseman. They needed a rest. They put Lou Gehrig in, and he played 2,600 games in a row.
Yeah, it's all about performing when you get a chance, isn't it? And that's certainly what Oliver's done these last few games. 3 goals in 3 matches, and that has to be a very pleasing aspect. I think when he came in, he got a couple of goals in that big win against Carolina over at Carleton University. A lot of people thought he had a hat-trick that day. It turned out the third one was an own goal. And then he kind of went off the board. It was a free kick.
Great
for
free kick
Fury.
Right in front of the goal. So The Ottawa Fury FC getting a great opportunity here early in the second half. Just 8 minutes gone. Heineman taken down just outside the 18-yard box. It'll be a 22-yard strike, and they'll try and bend it around the wall of baby blue.
Well, Donatelli looks like he's setting up for this one. Richie Ryan's placing the ball, but I think body language is suggesting it's perfectly set up for Donatelli to go up and over the wall, right-footed into that top left-hand corner. If he's able to get it up and down, it is a fairly bit closer to the 18-yard box than you prefer. You maybe want it a yard or two further back down. Richie Ryan might left-footed curl us around the outside, but I think Donatelli's favourite right now. No, it's
Ryan
Ryan.
takes
Oh,
it.
what a goal! Dear, oh dear, what an absolutely fantastic strike. Wow. Well, he had everybody fooled, didn't he? It looked like we were all going to go around the outside of the wall, but my goodness, far too much room given on that far corner. And it was curled perfectly. Richie Ryan, your goal scorer, curls it into the top right-hand corner. What a terrific free kick. Well, you can't ask for anything better than that. Brings this crowd to life once again. Here it is, just wraps his foot around that ball. Well, goalkeeper, absolutely no chance to keep. He tried for that all week. He was never going to get on the end of it. Absolutely outstanding. Look at that. Just curling away. You couldn't have walked up there with your hand down and put that in the top hand corner any better. 2-2. Once again, this crowd comes to life. And all to play for these 3 points this afternoon. Stunning goal by Richie Ryan.
Mendez taken down and a free kick awarded Minnesota, and Ryan right there to contest with referee Chris Grabas. Likely not going to have much effect on the proceedings here.
I'd like to see that one again. I'm not quite sure if maybe the lad just sort of slid in and fell over it. We'd have to get a good look at it again. You know what? I mean, it looked very, very bad there for Trafford. It looks like he's going in with 2 feet, but I think from the angle we see, I think he comes in from this. Well, whether you get the ball or not, the fact you're going in with 2 feet, Dan, stud showing possibly is an issue for the referee. The assistant referee certainly saw that. He put the flag up right away. I think the referee was going to allow play to continue. But from that angle, we see him sliding in, and it did look as if he had 2 feet showing. And I think at that point, the assistant referee made the call right away that he wanted, the referee to take some action. But initially, when I saw it, I thought Trafford possibly came in from the side.
Did he deliver a card?
I believe so. I think he did give Trafford the yellow card. I'm not 100% sure. I was watching the replay there, so.
I'm not sure he did.
Yeah.
Free kick, nonetheless, for Minnesota FC. Yes, Trafford did get the yellow card. Right in at Pizer, and he punches it back out to Ubi Parapovic.
Well, again, the keeper, deciding to punch out. I thought he may have had a really easy chance. There was no one when the blue shot with about 5 yards of him. Really could have cradled that in.
Nice play by Heineman to get past Mendez. Here's Maillard. Maillard into the corner, back into the area. Tipped. Just wide.
Oh, there's another call for a penalty kick for a push in the back there. Oliver just pleading with the referee that he was pushed in the back, but no call came. Well, another wonderful break down this left-hand side. Maillard sweeps the ball across. Well, from that angle, it's kind of tough to see. The ball comes in. The 2 players come in sort of late from the right-hand side. Well, I just wonder if Oliver maybe, again, sort of the 2 of them get their legs caught up within each other when they were going. I don't think there was any intent at all there by Cristiano Diaz. He certainly was behind them. Oliver did have position with regards to the cross, but again, Maillard involved down this left-hand side. We were screaming for it in the first half. It's happened here in the second. He's getting far more involved, and the Fury are starting to have a little bit of success now down the flank on this left wing.
Trafford. Becky. Ubi Parapovic. Mendez. Ramirez. Vicentini. Davis kept alive there only momentarily by Ibarra. It will be an Ottawa throw. Long throw. Heineman got the ball back to Ubi Parapovic, but it's cleared to Van Oekel.
Yeah, again, I don't think the goalkeeper was wanting that ball played back. Again, quickly closed down by the Fury, and it's something that, you know, they've done a little bit more of here in the second half, is trying to play a little bit more of a high line pressing onto the back four. We've seen it sometimes in the first half, they play a little bit deeper, and then they start pushing up in the second half, kind of changing things up a little bit for the back four, a little bit more pressure.
Long throw just out of the reach of Heineman. Van Oekel gets it and clears it. Ramirez after it with Becky. Becky, good defending for Ryan to Trafford. Maillard, too high for him. Here's Venegas. Inside for Jordan. Back out Mendez. Back for Venegas. Venegas forced all the way back. Calvano for Diaz. Diaz trying to work against Soria. Ryan, who's got the tying goal for Ottawa Fury FC. Heineman. Heineman almost able to break away from Diaz. Gets some support. Donatelli left that for Ubi Parapo, or make that Oliver. Here's Oliver. Back for Richter. Richter into the middle. Richie Ryan. Ubi Parapovic in for Maillard, using Maillard as the fulcrum on this offensive threat, and Maillard took Vicentini down, and the free kick awarded Minnesota.
Well, 50 minutes gone here in the second half. A lovely push back by the Ottawa Fury after going in 2-1 down, taking the lead, as you said, down 1-0, conceding two bad goals, it has to be said, to go down 2-1, but they've battled back here in the second half. They've looked very, very good going forward. Really like to see Maillard, as we said, more involved, and that's exactly what's happening here in the second half. And of course, that absolute wonder goal free kick by Richie Ryan.
His first of the year, Gord.
Yeah, you'll struggle to see a better free kick taken anywhere the rest of this season. Absolutely fantastic goal.
And could not have come at a more timely moment for the Fury FC, needing a victory 3-2-1 in their last 6. The hottest team in the North American Soccer League. Here's Maillard. Maillard into the area. Van Oekel gathers it with Heineman bearing down on him.
Yeah, again, just a little bit too close to that 6-yard box, and the big lad's been outstanding all afternoon, just breaking forward, making that area his own, and I just wonder if sometimes the Fury might just have to take a little bit off that, play it into a front post area, and ask Heineman to cut across the defender and nip in that way instead of trying to get in behind them and get a header back across the face of goal. But again, it's coming from Maillard. There certainly is an effort to get the ball fed out this left-hand side, far more than there was in the first half, and that's good to see. And certainly someone like Oliver becomes just as valuable as well, because he's got to read when it's time for him to run into the 18-yard box, Dan, and get in and support in the middle, because that's where the ball's going to end up going.
Another free kick awarded Minnesota at midfield. Calvano for Vicentini. Moves it across. Diaz. Diaz. Across for Calvano. Jordan. Pitch Colin. Far side. Davis up in support. Pitch that one just a little too far for Venegas. Also up in support from his back row position.
Well, I mean, outside the first sort of 20-25 minutes when Minnesota got those 2 goals and were back into it, Pitch Colin's had a fairly quiet match. He really hasn't got himself involved here in the second half at all. The runs that he was making in the first half, I mean, certainly the weather must be playing something on that, but I think the Fury are doing a better job in central midfield to make sure that he's not getting an opportunity to win the ball, get forward in possession, and make it difficult for the Fury back four to pick his runs up, you know, into good offensive areas in the attacking third.
Ryan tried to curl that one to the outside for Oliver. Ryan back in, And frees Oliver with some space on the right flank. Crossing in for Heineman, the header right at Van Oekel.
A terrific ball by Oliver, but it has to be said, a good win by Richie Ryan in central midfield. Lost possession, won it back, got Oliver free down the right-hand side. And a lovely ball into the box, picks out Heineman, just couldn't get enough weight behind the header. And in the end, an easy save for the goalkeeper, but a nice break by the Fury. Has a handball there. Plays allowed to continue though, ball to hand. Well, he decided to call the off. Well, I don't know what's going on here. Well, he has given the free kick now for the handball. I thought he allowed play to continue there, and Minnesota was going to get a chance to come back. It didn't look like it. Certainly wasn't intentional. The ball just played the lad's hand.
Ubi Parapovic. Through ball for Heineman. Swept away by Diaz. Another corner for the Ottawa Fury FC. Gored their 6th of this match.
Yeah, you know what, and they've looked dangerous on a couple of them. Certainly when Richie Ryan was throwing the balls in left-footed from the right-hand side. Mason Trafford with that one golden opportunity. What can Ubi Parapovic do here?
Into the area, it gets behind everybody. Richter tries to put it back.
Oh dear.
And it will be another corner.
Well, that looked like it could have fallen to either of two players in there as that ball came across. It was deflected at the front post area. Maybe Parapovic swings it across. I think it's Heineman, and there's two players just coming in. It goes behind them. Finally, the ball's played off. Minnesota defender Davis for another corner kick on that far side.
And Ryan takes this one.
Yeah.
The lefty will try to curl it in. Here's Ryan's delivery. Far post, quickly grabbed by Van Oekel, as it has on several occasions. That their 7th corner, and Van Oekel getting up to make the grab on 4 of them.
Yeah, just a little bit too, as we said, anywhere in that 6-yard box area, the big lads just mopping it up. They maybe just got to try and look at that area between the penalty spot and the 6-yard box and make it tough for the goalkeeper to come through a mass of bodies and get on the end of it.
Venegas. Calvano. Vicentini. Jordan. Jordan was playing up in the first half and has moved back into the midfield. Here's Ibarra.
I think that's just a product of the fact he's not getting the service here in the second half, Dan. He's coming deeper to pick it up himself.
Into the area. Loose ball off the crossbar. A great opportunity there. I believe it was Aaron Pitchcolan.
Yeah, we talked about him not getting into the box as often as he had been in the first half. Well, there it was. A nice late run in between two defenders, got on the end of it, got a bit of a lucky break. And in the end, his shot just came off the crossbar. Not an awful lot of power behind it. It was just sort of dinked over the goalkeeper. A bit of a let-off there for the Ottawa Fury.
And these are the lulls that Mark Dos Santos mentioned in his interview with Chris Messina. To begin this second half, we can't have any of these 5-minute lulls against a team like Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's it. You know, you just let them go on the front foot, and it just makes it so difficult for you to get the momentum back.
Ryan tripped up by Ibarra, free kick.
Well, here we see this replay of that last chance for Pitchcolan. A lovely ball there by Jordan, left-footed. Pitchcolan, well, he seemed to be in behind Trafford, and as he sort of spun away there, he just
excellent
took
job
the ball.
of spinning and body controlling traffic.
Yeah, for a big lad like that, though, to be able to spin quick feet, you know, and have the wherewithal to know where the goalkeeper was and just chip it up and over him. Very, very unlucky for Minnesota that ball didn't end up to make it 3-2 in the back of the net.
Pitchcolan again with some deft ability illustrated. Long through ball for Mendez. Mendez and a substitution now. Rafael Burgos. Burgos put it in, and it's headed away by Drew Becky, and it's a corner for Minnesota. So Burgos comes into the match for Minnesota. Not sure in whose stead.
This one sees Jordan out there. Is he even taken off? Greg Jordan, I'm not sure. Yeah, number 23, Greg Jordan's on the bench now.
Into the area, off the crossbar again. Romuald Pizer is cashing in all the good luck that he had this week with the birth of his new child.
He was lucky to see that go over, because again, that ball into the front post area, 5 or 6 bodies go there, goalkeeper can't get to it, and it's just up and over and off the top of the crossbar, and it looks like that we're seeing Tony Donatelli coming off, Nicky Patterson coming in. So Patterson will be playing in his more comfortable, familiar role of attacking midfielder instead of being out wide. Are we going to see Nicky Patterson with a big influence on this remaining 22 minutes?
You said it at the 70-minute mark, Gordon. We're in the 69th right now.
Yeah, you know, with the type of weather conditions that we have, and Donatelli's put in a decent shift this afternoon. You know, a couple of nice touches, trying to bring the 3 strikers into play as often as possible. But when you are on the wrong side of 30 or so, that it does start to work against you. No matter how fit you are, these type of conditions make it very difficult. And when you're running neck and neck with a lot of these Minnesota youngsters, it's really difficult to maintain that for a full 90 minutes. So 70 minutes, good on him for getting through that. A couple of contributions to the match, and you know, he can now sit down as a cheerleader and hopefully, you know, cheer this team on to another goal and 3 points here this afternoon. But Minnesota will just continue to keep coming. They know they want the 3 points as well. Certainly a point won't be that disastrous for them, but 3 points overall would wrap up, for me, I would think, the overall standings, with still having a game in hand against San Antonio after today. That would give them a 5-point lead if they can pick up the win today with a game in hand. But we've still got lots of time left to go, and I'm sure the Fury will have an awful lot to say about these final 20 minutes.
Venegas clears that one out. Soria with the Ottawa throw. He'll get an opportunity to do it again. Patterson had some difficulty bringing it down, allowing Minnesota United to clear. Here's Richie Ryan once again. Ryan. Trafford in for Myard. Myard being held up by Venables. Or Venegas. Here's Ubi Parapovic. The long through ball gets to Richter. No offside flag. Richter still with it. Up from his backfield position in support. Nicky Patterson drops that off for Richter. Richter for Richie Ryan. Ryan tried to feed that one through. It was broken up by Diaz.
Well, I think initially he may have thought about a shot, but it was on his right foot, and that wasn't happening.
Heineman right into Van Oekel on the header.
Terrific play, though, by the big striker, in between two of them, using all his strength to hold them off. Gets another header contact, but just can't get enough power once again to get it beyond goalkeeper Van Oekel. But a lovely little chip into that area. Heineman decided he's going for it, does well. Not enough purchase on it to get it beyond the goalkeeper. No, it's been a wonderful game, Dan. It really has. I mean, every single time we have a home game here for the Ottawa Fury, it's exciting, it's fun. The energy level that is around this field is terrific. Coming from the stands, coming from the players, everything. And it certainly is wonderful to be part of it. But you'd certainly, if they could pull out a win for sure, that would just be the icing on the cake, wouldn't it?
Vicentini right in at Romuald Pizer. From well out, no danger done. Pizer getting underneath that one a little. Nicky Patterson goes up for it. Doesn't win that battle. Diaz. For Vicentini. Vicentini across for Calvano. Venegas. All the way across the pitch. Diaz plays it off his chest. Pitch Colin back to Diaz. Far side. Here's Burgos. Burgos tries to feed that through for Ibarra. Cleared away by Trafford. Pitch Colin. Calvano. Heineman goes up, heads it up for Myard. He's got some speed, but he's cut off nicely by Venegas.
Yeah, it's an excellent play by Venegas. You saw the danger there in the middle of the park as the ball broke through to Maillard. Enough pace to get back and help out. Well, slowly but surely from open play, the Fury are starting to get chances. Heineman certainly has been on the end of 2 or 3 of them, headers. You know, Minnesota will be disappointed that the 2 goals they have conceded have come off a set plays, a free kick and a penalty kick. From open play, though, nothing.
Burgos into Ramirez, can't get it away. Beautiful play by Trafford to take one away from the league's leading scorer.
Well, that looked odds on to be the lead goal this afternoon at 3-2, but a wonderful play by Trafford, sliding in at the death and making sure that Ramirez wasn't able to just poke that ball home for the 3rd goal for Minnesota this afternoon. Nice break down the left-hand side, the Fury caught out. Nice ball by Patterson, spread all the way. Again, that diagonal ball changing the angle of attack, making it difficult for the back 4 of United.
Oliver can't get the shot through. Broken up by Davis. Here's Burgos for Davis on the far side. Davis back up the middle, Ramirez to Burgos. Burgos, Ibarra, Vicentini, Venegas, Calvano. Venegas on the wing. Back for Calvano in the shade. Up for Ibarra. Ibarra with some space. Mendez. Maillard takes it away from him. Mendez goes down.
Yeah,
play continues.
Maillard took a knock as well. I think it's a left knee there, kind of twisted on him. He's out of position now.
And he's had a pretty good afternoon.
Yeah, he certainly has. He really has. Not so much, I think, in the first half when he wasn't getting the service, but his contribution here in the second half has been wonderful.
Heineman dives. Another chance. But the play had been whistled down.
Yeah, for a free kick against Heineman.
Maillard remains out there, just walking that knee-on-knee collision off. Venegas. Vicentini. All the way across for Diaz. Burgos still inside. Nice drop for Pitchkolin. Pitchkolin gets to the end line. Tries to get it across, but Romuald Pizer was there.
Well, a bit of a concern there, though. There was an overlap, and no black shirt ran with the Burgos there as he went. Midfielders have got to pick up those runs, Dan. You can't allow free passes into your 18-yard box.
Patterson. For Oliver, for Ubi Parapovic. On the edge of the area, inside Oliver's header. That one deflected wide and then headed away by Diaz. Burgos moves that up. Davis. Tripped up, looking for Ramirez. Davis had Ramirez going. And
well, here we see this last effort here for Burgos. The ball played across. Ramirez coming in, and there he is. Mason Trafford goes to ground. Terrific block to make sure it makes its way back to Pizer. But again, the run by Burgos just around the outside of the back, the full back, and terrific defensive play by Trafford.
Oliver comes out, and Carl Haworth comes in for the Ottawa Fury FC to get some speed on the outside. Oliver again, Gord, with one of those games where you really have an impact, but you come away unrewarded statistically.
Yeah, the first half I thought some of his runs down the right-hand side were excellent. He was making some nice balls into the box. For every one bad, there was 3 good ones.
Ramirez clears for Mendez. Back out Mendez.
Oh my goodness.
Pizer with a stop. Loose play in the area by the Ottawa Fury FC.
Well, they're claiming offside there, but when the lad was, he certainly was in an offside position, but it was passed to him, I believe, by the Ottawa Fury. Here we'll see it breaking. At that point, Trafford plays it back towards Pitchkolin, and I'm not quite sure who it was that had that shot on goal. It was certainly a Fury boot that it came off of. Very, very fortunate. Pizer was
alert,
had his wits about him there.
Mendez. Ramirez spins, gets it back to Mendez.
Yeah, that's silly. You know, you're looking all the way across there. There's no way you should be caught offside. with that ball being played back out to you. Ramirez has done a wonderful job of spotting you, finding you there, and you're completely looking across the back row of black shirty defenders. You cannot be getting caught offside there, and it will be his last action of the afternoon as Mendez comes off. Well,
and Omar Daly
got the second goal to make it 2-1 and put Minnesota in the driver's seat midway through that first half, but the Fury have battled back with a good performance here in the second half. Got the tying goal on Richie Ryan's simply delicious free kick into the top right hand corner.
Each manager with one substitution remaining and a little less than 12 minutes to go in official time. Really haven't been that many stoppages, Gord. It might just go the full 90 and maybe 91 or 92.
Yeah,
that's
well,
it.
We've had two substitutes of one and one of two, so that'll be at least a minute and a half.
Patterson.
Oh,
out in front. Maillard can't finish. Ubi Patapovic goes one way, stops the other way. Daly able to mark him, and Venegas.
Well, again,
offside called against Minnesota.
Very, very tight, Dan. You know, Pitch Cole and there's looking all the way across. He thought he just timed his run to perfection. The flag went up though right away. Sorry, it wasn't Pitch Cole, and I can't quite see Ramirez possibly on that far side.
Trafford. Soria. Soria gets it back from Ubi Patapovic. Richie Ryan. In for Sinisha Ubi Patapovic. Ubi Patapovic, nice chip inside for Heineman. Heineman for Patterson, and Patterson a step too late getting into the play.
Well, that's the runs that you're going to have to see from Patterson. The ball played up to Heineman, he knocks the ball down nicely. Nice instinct between the two of them, nice chemistry, knowing that that's where Patterson's run was going to be, exactly where it needed to be from Heineman's header down. Just unfortunately couldn't catch up to it. Nice defensive play to get it cleared away there.
Ottawa throw. And nice little play by Ubi Patapovic. The cross. Heineman off the crossbar.
Oh, terrific play. That's a wonderful cross by Soria. Again, the fullback getting into a good attacking position, Dan. Good support. Wonderful delivery. Heineman knew exactly what he had to do. His only option really was to try and flick it into that top hand, right hand corner. That's exactly what he did, and just unfortunately again comes off the cross. That's about 3 or 4 crossbars total we've seen at both ends here this afternoon.
Lovely little one-touch pass by Ubi Patapovic to spring Soria.
Yeah, but again that interplay Maillard, Ubi Patapovic, Soria down this left-hand side. It's been on all afternoon, and as I said, a little bit surprised in the first half there wasn't as much of it. Certainly here in the second half it's looked very promising for the Ottawa Fury. That's a mistake.
Howard for Patterson, just too far.
Yeah, just a little bit too heavy there, wasn't it? Patterson again though, getting forward, good advanced positions. That's what he's got to do. He's really looking for that first goal to really get his Fury career off the ground, isn't he? Chomping at the bit every single time. He's had to bite his tongue a couple of times on the bench. When he gets an opportunity, he's got to get in there and grab it by both hands. He certainly can't drop Ubi Patapovic and Donatelli the way they've been playing all season. So if you're finding a spot for Nicky Patterson, it has been out wide in these last few games. Got an opportunity here this afternoon to get back into his favoured role with 20 minutes left to go.
Again, ball goes out on the far side, another Minnesota throw. Davis. Little chip in. Burgos unable to make a play. Ubi Patapovic knocked off the ball. Free kick Fury.
Yeah, ball was still rolling there. Richie Ryan just tried to take it quickly. Well, there's been a couple of excellent performances here this afternoon by the Ottawa Fury. It's going to make our player of the game choice a tough one in about 5 minutes' time. We might just wait till the final kick of the ball, because as this Ottawa Fury team has shown us, it's not over until the final kick of the ball, so we'll have to be really careful as to who we pick before the last ball is kicked.
Richter. Far side. Howarth. Here's Howarth. Little feed in for Patterson. Patterson. Return feed for Howarth. Taking away another big corner for the Ottawa Fury right here.
Well, here we see all these crossbars. There's Pitch Colin's one that comes straight off the crossbar. Cleared away. The second Minnesota one. Pies it out position. It comes off the top. And then the final one, a terrific ball by Soria, it has to be said. Heineman just can't get around the ball in time. Bouncing off the crossbar, it's still 2-2 with all to play for.
Ryan curls that one into the area, and it's punched away by Van Okel. Ibarra trying to get through. Ubi Parapovic and Howarth. Howarth gets the ball back. Ubi Parapovic. 3 weeks ago, Howarth was in a walking cast. Now he's out there trying to get the winner for the Fury FC. 2-2 in the 84th minute. Minnesota United FC trying to take sole possession of first place in the North American Soccer League. And now comes Vinny Dantas with the final substitution available to head coach Mark Dos Santos.
And it's Tommy Heineman coming out. Well, he's had another solid afternoon. Heineman has. You know, you're playing against two very large, very solid, very well organised central defenders, and as a lone striker down the middle, yeah, you've got help out on the wings, but as a lone striker down the middle, it's a tough job. You're battling, you're pushing, you're shoving, you're giving as good as you get, and Tom Heineman has done that once again here this afternoon. An excellent performance, and what has to be said, against quite possibly the best defensive team in the NASL here in 2014.
Soria on the attack for the Fury FC. Ubi Parapovic for Richie Ryan. Back for Trafford. Trafford into the middle for Patterson. Becky. The pass behind him, but he controlled nicely for Trafford. Trafford, little pitch through and offside on Maillard by about 5 yards.
It's just a little bit early. So Ottawa's now played all three of their substitutions. Patterson, Howarth and Dantas, all attacking players. Mark Dos Santos setting his stall. He's not sitting back for 2-2. He wants 3 points here this afternoon. And it's been another very, very good performance by the Ottawa Fury. And you know what? Sometimes you come in as an expansion team and teams look at, you know, you're an easy mark. Your 3 points we're going to take, no problem, no matter whether it's home or away. Well, this Ottawa Fury team, all of a sudden they're becoming, you know, they're coming right back into it.
Patterson colliding with Diaz, and Diaz taking the better of it. Patterson got up and wondered why the foul was called.
No, he's well, Nicky Patterson, as I said, he'll a bowling ball out there. He just goes all over the place, up and down, left and right. He's willing to do just about everything for this club, and you just want him to get, really you do want him to get that first goal, just so that he's going to be able to say, right, that's it out of the way, now let's really start showing what we're made of here. And a terrific player that's just had an up and down season with regards to injuries, and really hasn't been able to get his Fury career totally untracked. I'm sure we'll see the best of Nicky Patterson though as his Fury career continues.
Here's Richie Ryan. Goes to the far side. Ryan Richter. Nice through ball looking for Howarth. Too far for him. Diaz tried to get it out, but it's kept alive by Dantas. In for Patterson. Patterson tried to feed it back for support. Here's Ubi Parapovic. Couldn't tee it up. Now he tries to set up a play. Working against Davis. Ubi Parapovic. Can't get it through. He does find it through. Little chip. Howarth near side for Maillard. Maillard back. Soria. Papush Maillard. Again. Play